Hello, everybody, and welcome to another E5 podcast. I am your chair for today. I am your host, Paul Meenan, and today I have got some very unusual co-hosts. Why don't you introduce yourself?
My name's Mike, also known as Residual Current on social media.
Yes. So we have the latest generation of RCD talking. So you've heard of digital electronic RCDs. We've now got one on the podcast. He's back. Residual Current is back. And who is back to help grill Residual Current and enjoy his company? It's
me, Sparking Ninja, because I was at my desk.
It's Sparky Ninja because he was at his desk in his bespoke office for doing podcasting and videos. And
I'm eating sweets, so I'm sorry.
It's okay. I've got a little bit of a blocked nose today, so forgive me if I'm sniffing. I'll do my best to avoid it. Mike, you've accepted that you are the offspring of a voltage-operated circuit breaker, which I think is a wonderful thing. You did a podcast of us. It was so successful. Actually, I didn't even check the numbers on that, but I'm pretty sure it was.
I'm sure it had a good listen, because I think Michael's actually put it onto his Instagram as a video, haven't you?
Yeah, it was fun to do, but it got on there in the end, yeah.
You need to show us how to do all that, because I didn't realise you could put like an hour-long video into Instagram. So this will probably be on Instagram as well, actually. So hello, Instagram.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Please subscribe to our Instagram channel if you can find it.
If not, welcome to Michael's channel, because he'll be on there.
This will be on Michael's channel as well. Absolutely. Right, Michael. So you are one of the key Instagrammers, or kings of the gram.
Possibly, yeah.
No, you are. You're really good at Instagram, and I'm really pants. And I will get better, I promise, because I've only just, as you recently will have discovered, I've discovered the live button. Which is sometimes dangerous and sometimes good.
I'm scared of.
You've been playing with that last week.
I have been playing with it, although I'm now trying to encourage the other lads who have access to the Instagram account to just do random live stuff, so there isn't my bearded grey Gandalf the Grey type of face on it all the time. So you're the Instagram king. Well, not Instagram king, but you're an Instagrammer. Have you got any advice for the incompetent ones like El Muggins here?
There's loads of little things you can do. I mean, there's small things, and then there's like just using Instagram as it is intended, which I think a lot of people don't either understand, or they get clouded.
So when I first started Instagram, I tried modelling in women's underwear. It just didn't work. Nobody subscribed to me.
Doesn't work for everyone.
Probably a good point there. I mean, I use Instagram like I use Twitter, like I do, and I use it because it's there, and I kind of add it to another one to use. So can you maybe explain to us what is it specifically we're supposed to use it for? How is it designed to be used?
Yeah.
So that's one of my points. It's largely it's no different to a YouTube. You're creating content to show people. So whether that is you're an electrician or a race car driver or an astronaut or whatever, do you know what I mean? You're showing your life. Obviously, it's always through rose tinted glasses most of the time on Instagram, but you are just sharing what you do or what you're passionate about to people who are also interested in that. Like mine is obviously very reflective of electrical installation, working on the tools, stuff like that, and like-minded people gravitate towards that naturally. But that is just that is the basis of Instagram, but there's a lot more you can do to really hone the craft. That is, being relevant and being keeping up with Instagram, because it is a bit of a beast.
So why did you start?
It was weird. It was like I had an itch to. Obviously, I saw other Instagrammers, and I'd follow people, and within a week, I was like, I want to do that, and I feel like I could do it better. And then from there, I mean, at the start, it wasn't even a personal page, but it was. I didn't know what it was going to be, but and now it's it's a blog very much of what I do.
Hang on, who's clicking a fucking pen?
Michael is.
Michael's
I'm going
you
to put
clicking
that
a
away.
fucking pen? You bastard! That's going right through me.
I can see Paul going, "What's that? Who's that? Who's that?" So I thought I'd go
Yeah,
like this.
listen, this was the same with Dan. We'll cut this bit out, but Dan was the same, and with his little ping in the background.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Dempsey's the same. Anyway, sorry. And carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. So one of my primary tips, it's a really easy one, is your name. So if you notice on my Instagram, my name's Electrical Blog. I think I've changed it to Electrician's Blog.
I did notice that. I didn't know why though.
So it should be Residual Current, right? Because that is
Yeah.
my name. You can see that at the top of the page because that's my username, my app tag, and you could very easily write it in your bio. The reason why I put Electrician's Blog in is because if you go on search and type in electricians, who comes up for you? It might not be me, but it's all people with electricians in their name, isn't it?
Well, looky here. So we're not calling you Residual Current. We're going to call you Electrician's Blog.
Yeah.
Funny enough, Electrician SOS, old Shawnee boy, is at the top of my list.
Yeah, it's not necessarily
SOS.
But the point I'm making is
Electrician Squad. Oh yeah, Residual Current, Electrician's Blog.
No one is going to, if you're an electrician, it's very unlikely you're going to type in Residual Current into Instagram or Burgess Electrical Services in Instagram or E5 into Instagram.
You're at the top. Okay, so
if you put in something that's relevant to what you're trying to do, i.e. electrician's blog, people are more likely to search that. It's almost a way of like search engine optimization for Instagram. That's a really easy one to do.
That makes sense.
A lot of people will be, they'll have their abbreviated name MES. No one's going to type that in. As if you type in electrical contractor, MES might come up if that was their name.
Yeah, as I kind of scroll up, I can see some that I also follow. Here's Professional Electrician magazine.
Exactly.
My trusted electrician, Mark Electrician. That's the chap up in Scotland. I think he's got some stuff.
Mark Electrician.
So
he's sound blokey.
I'm Sparky Ninja, so I'm never going to appear here.
Oh, you are, because you got Sparky, and that is still quite popular. It's just not as popular as Electrician.
So our we named E5 completely wrong there.
We've messed this up.
But you can still be called E5 in your username, but you could then say I don't know, Electrical Heroes. Do you know what I mean?
But can that be changed?
That's just weird.
Yeah, you can change your name.
So I can change my user account is Sparky Ninja. We've got E5, but we can change our name to.
That's just like your name. Mine should be Michael Page. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, hang on. So if I press edit,
your username.
Sorry, guys. If I press edit, so I've got name the E5 group, and then the username for anyone who wants to subscribe, it's _E5 group. Yeah. So do I change the name or the username?
The username you keep the same because you want that to be you. But the name is that's how you get found when people use
search
engine on Instagram.
I could change our thingy. Our Instagram name is now the Electrical 5.
Exactly.
We're doing this in real time.
Exactly.
Real time.
So
I've now changed our Instagram to the Electrical 5.
Immediately, people are going to type in. There you go. And
electrical.
People are more likely to type in electrical, and that's all they need to type in, not the Electrical 5.
Right. So, shall I change my name to the Ninja Electrician or something like that?
Either that, or yours could even be something as simple as your tag. Make electricians great again. Because if people type in electricians,
Sparky
it's going to come up.
There's a much better one for you, Sparky Killer. Killing you with knowledge.
But all it is that's what the search engine uses. So as long as you have electrician in there at one point, mine's electrician's blog.
So that's the search term, the name. That's an excellent first tip.
Make electricians great again. You need to change your account name to Make Electricians Great Again.
All right, I'm going to do that.
We'll try it for a week and see if it works.
Well, your username will still be Sparky Ninja, and if you type in Sparky Ninja, you will be found directly by your username. But random people will type in electrical or electrician, and that's how they'll find you.
So for anyone listening to this podcast, we're building our competence live on a podcast, which is fantastic. So our Instagram account, we are the _E5 group, and we're now called as a header the Electrical 5.
There you go.
Or if anyone's got a better name, like a name, because E5 was named after the part of the UK competency, but hey, we can call ourselves what we want. That's good. Okay, so let's see if that has an impact. That would be really interesting. So that's
a very small one
for Instagram.
You've got to imagine that's not going to gain you thousands of followers overnight, but it's just a little one. If someone types in electricians or whatever, you're going to be in that search, rather than they'd have to type in E5 specifically, which random electricians that don't know about you, very unlikely for them to search that, isn't it?
So I'm an Instagram novice. So I generally don't do the social media stuff for the followers anyway. Although I do know now that they are quite important, because if you're trying to put a message out there, they are. I think the one thing that we've always done with our social media is if it's like the old again, probably if you build it they will come sort of thing. We're not really after people to flock to us, because as Dave will attest, the volume of messages and mails, as well as the day jobs, holy cow, there have been days when literally I've started answering messages, I've worked from home, and I've gone, oh my god, I've done nothing but doing just DMs and private messages all day and not done my day job, which is not good. But top tip. Right.
Top tip. I've done mine. Make electricians great again.
The next thing I could suggest is just your bio. So you guys have pretty much got this in hand, but there's a lot of people who have nothing in their bio apart from commercial, industrial, and domestic. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're like, say who you are, what you do, where you are. You know, have your number, your contact details in your bio, not just electrical contractor.
Really?
You know, you can put a lot more in there. You don't want to oversaturate it. 3 or 4 bullet points of just saying who you are, what you do, and what people are going to find on your page, you know?
So it should be honest to what's on your page.
Exactly,
Maybe a bit of specifics about your niche. It might be industrial, commercial, or it might be smart homes or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it also gives you an opportunity to be a bit more of a character, rather, because obviously this is aimed not just at people like ourselves, which are more than a contractor, but this is also aimed at, you know, various people who just use their Instagram for business, various contractors. You can really show a bit of character in your bio. It's the first thing people see.
Yeah.
That's just, again, a very small tip, but it makes all the difference when you look at a profile.
But these are the little things that a lot of people who sign up, they sign up to grab an account, and then they play a little bit, but then they kind of back off, but then they don't see immediate success. Then they go later to try harder, and they don't realize what they've already done that they could have done better.
100%. The next thing is the feed. So, you know, that's your collection of photos, your page, or whatever. It's known as your feed. So many people, especially when they first start, they would have been on Instagram for 3 months and they've got 4 photos. So I don't know if you know anyone who's got 4 photos on their page, but that leaves half of the screen just blank.
Right.
So the one thing I'll say to people, if you've been on Instagram for 1 week, just get 10 photos out there, because what it does is it populates the whole screen with content. You haven't got one post,
which to me screams activity.
Yeah, and it makes you look like you are using Instagram, and it makes your profile more attractive for people to go, oh yeah, I'll scroll down. They might scroll down and see nothing, but at least what's on the screen is there.
I can actually back this one up, because I did a Follow Friday thing last week. I don't do that, but I did one. So I wanted to try to do the people that I really like on Instagram, some of the people that I'm really following right now. And there are a couple I do like, but they haven't got any content, or their content is very old and they're not doing it regularly. So I didn't put them on. I only wanted to put people on that were actually active.
So I actually tried the Follow Friday thing, because I've always wondered what the hell is everybody going mental about having a tag in a picture that I can't see because all the words are across it. And then I realised this is just like a offering of a friendship thing. So I tried to do that, and I still can't master how to. And I'm sorry, Dave, you've explained this to me, but and I'm hoping this is one of your tips. How do I do that and insert the GIFs that we so love, but I can't do it?
I'll tell you what, it's not one of my tips, but I will personally run through it with you.
Okay, but while you've just done that, I have updated E5 Instagram Live, and it now says, helping folk in the electrical trade level up, trademark Sparky Ninja, and trying to make electricians great again, with our E5 family. Practice your coding and update.
And the hashtag in the bio is brilliant as well. That's not one of my tips, but having personalized hashtags is another massive thing, but it's really hard to do. You know, 'cause unless you're someone like Coca-Cola, it's going to be hard to get millions of people sort of hashtagging something. 4th is the profile picture. So many people have a picture of the NIC logo as their profile picture. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but you'll be surprised, or it'll be a picture of them and their dogs, or a picture of a fuse board they did, but it's completely tiny because it's on their profile.
You
Just
can't
get
see anything in that, can you?
exactly. Just get a company logo. It could be your full name or just one letter or your your image, and just get it centralized. It doesn't take long to
So
do.
are we doing that right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, your logo's the E5 logo's
our
perfect.
logo's
for
E5's logo, my Smoking Horse's logo.
Yours is as well. It fits.
Yours is your big R. So
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Doing that one right, Paul. Cool.
But there's a lot of people who,
Yes.
they don't. They'll have the Nappit logo really small and blurry or something.
And the worst thing I find, the worst thing I find, the laziness of social media. And I know everyone's going to go, "You hypocrite, you're crap at it." But the worst thing I see is when people put their logos on and it's skewed and it's compressed or stretched and it's not even appearing right on the screen. I just think, "Oh, you lazy bugger."
Well, my logo's a lot bigger.
It.
I've had to make it just the R for Instagram because otherwise you'd never, see it.
Yeah. The R is much more predominant anyway.
Yeah. But again, that's just a little tip that makes all the difference. You've got to remember, some people look at profiles from afar. They might not even go on your profile. They might see you tagged or your profile picture in a comment. And if you have a nice big logo that's attractive or looks professional, people are going to click on that name rather than a blurry NIC logo and your name's so-and-so electrical.
I've already got one extra follower on our Instagram, Dave, since I started typing all this stuff. Working.
The fifth one, and this is one of the this goes back to using Instagram as it was intended. This is a massive thing, and you guys clearly do it, in like all the time. It's just engaging with people genuinely and replying to every comment and showing interest and extending kindness through the platform. Talking to people, sending DMs, advice. I have a lot of stuff that goes on in my DMs, so I'm just giving people advice or asking people for advice, talking about stuff, sometimes work related, sometimes not, all sorts of stuff. But it's just that you'll build genuine, meaningful relationships, and do you know what I mean? You'll get genuine people who actually, you're just building something genuine, do you know what I mean, and doing good with the platform, and that's what it is designed for. That's what a lot of popular people or successful people on Instagram do. They do have these genuine, meaningful relationships.
So what you need to do is, when you make a post, is you need to return to your post and see who's responded and actually carry on
check
with
DMs. Sometimes you get requests from people that you're not following back, and there might be sometimes I have 10 of them and I'll forget to check them, but I'll go through them all, message them all. And just going back to comments and not just putting a thumbs up. Sometimes just respond, ask someone what their opinion or how they just be genuine. Obviously it takes a lot of time.
Sorry, chaps. Since we just started this, you're talking about checking your DMs and engaging with people. There's a chap to this morning. Obviously, this is probably a couple of weeks ago now when listening to this. So I've just upgraded my MFT tester. So my old, when I say old, they are top of the range, separate mega kit. I gave it away to a young lady this morning. So I lugged it on the train, gave it to a level 3 learner who was just coming out of her time so that she could have her own test kit. So she'd go off and do testing, and gave her the money to get it calibrated and all that. I've just had a DM from a chap who's giving us a barely used KMP Mega.
No way.
To hand out to someone.
See, that's the genuine kindness.
Really nice people.
Yeah.
Do I dare mention his name? Well, I will do. JB Tech Installations. God bless him.
Definitely.
So I've said, we'll have it, and we'll offer it out on Twitter.
Yeah.
We'll offer it to a learner, level 3 learner, someone who's coming out of their time or is doing a testing course.
That's wicked.
No, that is cool. Anyway, sorry we've digressed, but Instagram is such a nice place. It's far nicer than Twitter. So come on, teach us more. This is just Competency 101. Ignore the listeners, just teach.
Number 6 on my list of 10 is hashtags. So this is where this is where you're getting into the science behind Instagram, I guess, and it can get...
Before you do this, I spent a couple of weekends thinking, okay, I need to make Instagram work a bit better. And I'd read one thing, an article published, and then obviously there'll be a change in the algorithm, and then there'll be another thing. And actually pinning down what you need to do, it was always go to one place, they say do it that way, another place they say, never do it that way. And they're talking about the same date. And you're like, so let me know the magic.
Well, hashtags, I mean, there's all sorts of old wives' tale and myths and what have you. The one thing is that Instagram works on hashtags. It's its way of getting people to what they want to see. So
That's why when you post all your stuff, you've got loads and loads of hashtags.
but
I've always thought you were on drugs or something when you did that. I thought, why is he putting them so many
you're
in?
basically almost the equivalent of geotagging your posts on Instagram. You know, people can. I'll get more into that. So there's a lot of, like you say, Dave, you see different blog posts. There's some that say you should only use 10. There's some that say you should use all of them. You can't use more than 31 of them. I use all 31 because I think
I've heard people. The last I read is you can have a 31, but the magic number was about 11.
Yeah, they said 11.
I don't know where I heard that from.
Then it was 25, and I've always used 31, and I've never had any trouble.
You always filled it up.
Yeah, but I
you
know
have
a lot
to hand type them.
There's automations behind it. So I've got a shuffler, because if you post the same hashtags in the same order every single time, Instagram will put that down as spam. So if you shuffle them up, I've got an app which literally you can put anything into it, numbers or whatever, but I put my hashtags into it and it will shuffle them up. So every post for the same hashtags, it just puts them in a different order every time.
And it's called Shuffler.
No, it's called.
So I'm just downloading it.
This is one of the other things, though. There are so many apps that integrate with Instagram. Or
I don't know any of this. So
mine's called Hish Hash.
Hish Hash.
Yeah.
I did think you had a lot of time on your hand, to be honest with you, when I saw that. IG Analyzer Instagram? Is that? Oh, no, Hish Hash.
Yeah, it's just like a shuffler. Hashtags. Yeah, there you go.
Well, there you go, everybody. Hish Hash.
Yeah. So and it can be very tedious to write them all out, but being the little bit that I know about this, Paul, is, for example, we've just talked about obviously trying to network with people local, but if you have a hashtag, people can follow hashtags.
Exactly.
So if you have a mega instrument tester or a Fluke, like in the US, Fluke's a very popular brand, so a lot of people will follow the Fluke hashtag. And if you start posting Fluke content, you might start getting people following you from the US. Then you can start following them and start actually spreading the content around. Yeah. So people follow hashtags.
Do you know what? I was on LinkedIn the other day and it said, would you like to follow hashtag E5? And I thought, yes. And then all I got was loads of content about a bakery in East London.
By postcode.
And I'm just thinking, this isn't working. But occasionally there was a post. But again,
the more E5 content, the more E5 hashtags, that will gradually start to balance out. But if you think about it, there'll probably be a lot of things hashtag E5 in the postcode.
Hashtag make bakeries great again.
Hashtag E5. Make bacon great again.
Sorry, Mike, I spoke over you.
That's all right. So what I have is you should put your hashtags into categories. So basically, hashtags have a certain number of posts with that hashtag. Does that make sense? So, for instance, the hashtag for 230 volts, which you think would be really relevant, has less than 10,000 posts with that hashtag. But the hashtag electrician has 8,000 posts, 800,000 posts, sorry, with that hashtag. So the idea behind hashtags is if someone's following that hashtag or search for that hashtag, you want to be on the top page for that hashtag. You're not going to do that if you're a small account and if there's 900,000 people hashtag electrician on their post and you're a new account, you're not going to be in that top thing. But you'll easily get into the top 9 or top 100 posts of hashtag 230 because not a lot of people are using that hashtag. So I say use 10 hashtags with under 10,000, 10 hashtags with under 200,000 uses, and then 5 or 10 hashtags with over 200,000. What that does is basically the more likes your post gets, you'll slowly start appearing for the 10,000 hashtags. Then you get more likes, you'll get pushed into the 200,000 hashtags, and then you'll slowly get pushed into like the 800,000, the big hashtags, which is where you essentially go viral. You know, when you get them posts on your Instagram, where you're like, I don't follow you, but you're somehow on my Instagram showing me you. That's people going viral, and that's basically them using this method of surfing through the hashtag. Sometimes it takes days. I had a post after about 3 weeks. It got 17,000 likes. I've never got that many likes in my life. My total Instagram hasn't got that many likes, but one post for some reason managed to go viral. That was
just because of the wave of hashtag.
Yeah, so like
Dude, I did a post on, I think it was on LinkedIn, and it was a picture of 3 magazines, and it got 25,000 views
Yeah.
alone. And it was like it's the most viewed thing I ever did. And I was like,
viral.
there's some weird, but I do get occasionally, like, because I use LinkedIn quite a lot. I think I'm quite competent at LinkedIn. Occasionally, if I use lots of hashtags on LinkedIn, which I'm pretty competent at now, occasionally one of them will LinkedIn will say, oh, that one has gone viral, or it's trended, sorry. So then you get all these random people liking your post who are like second and third connections. You're like, who are you? So yeah, I get how LinkedIn works, but the Instagram, I didn't.
Yeah, it just takes a bit of time. In about an hour, you can find your hashtags. So if you type in hashtag 230 volts into Instagram, it will tell you it's got 1,000 right now. It will tell you hashtag 230 volts, 1,000 plus posts. And if you click on that, it's all just electrical posts. My post is on there today. Literally the post that I posted today is on there. And then you can go, right, that falls in the under 10,000 category. So it's only got 10,000. And then you can slowly do that for hashtag electrician, hashtag fluke, hashtag. I would say keep them relevant to what you're posting. Don't hashtag fluke if you're posting a mega. Do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of generic ones, electricians of Instagram, Insta electrician, Sparky Life, all these random hashtags, which, you know, some of them have hundreds of thousands of posts, some of them have, you know, 100. But you can basically just build your selection of things, and then you just want to shuffle them every time, and it will get you so much more engagement and so much more just like-minded people following your stuff, you know. Liking your stuff, commenting on your stuff. They might not even follow you, but they might give you a like and leave a comment, or they might just follow you, you know. It's
apologies for that, chaps. I had to disappear and quiet because my dog has come in because she knew you were on the podding, and she was so excited to see you, as you probably could tell from the video camera. She literally jumped up on me and was very happy to see you, Mike.
Oh, bless.
Anyway, so I don't know about you guys, but I've learned something new about hashtagging. Dan's the engineer, was the man of the moment who taught me about the whole hashtag E5 stuff, and was like, we should just hashtag E5. And I think the first time I ever used it was an article that I wrote for Pro Electrician magazine about 3 years ago. And I asked the editor, Richard Bowler, could I possibly, please, just at the end of it, put hashtag E5? And he went, what is this? Some sort of cult, some sort of weird thing? And I was like, no. But it just, could you please do it? And he was like, yeah, okay, fine. So he took a leap of faith, and that was one of the first times it got printed.
Yeah.
But I've downloaded the app. And it looks like I'm going to end up most of tonight typing in all of these hashtags.
Yeah, and what you can do on that app is you can create your categories there. So you can create a folder and call it under 10,000, and then search all electrical hashtags with under 10,000 uses and put them in that folder. And then it will shuffle them for you. You know, it will give you 10 of these, because you might have 30 hashtags that are just under 10,000.
Can you create? I mean, I've not got it, but can you create folders that are subject specific?
Yeah, exactly. I've got a folder about tools. So when I do a post about tools, it will shuffle 30 hashtags with different sizes and different, you know, ranges into that. And then I've got 30 relevant hashtags about tools because I'm posting about a tool. And then I just have a generic electrical one as well. But you could have loads of different you know, you can really micromanage it if you wanted to.
So that's what you do, is you start with the very specific ones relevant to your post.
Generic.
Right. I need to get to 31. Then you open up the generic electrical one for
just to exactly. Yeah. Because some hashtags are useless. They've got 2 uses. You know, there's no point using that, because if 2 people have used it, there's less than 2 people looking at it. But the ones that have got thousands of uses, there's clearly they got uses for a reason. People are clearly following them and what have you. So normally the more uses they have, the more competitive they are to be seen on those hashtags. There's a real science to it, and that's how a lot of people they base their whole Instagram. Yeah, and then
I feel like I'm in a school science class learning about the science of digital tagging.
It's baffling. It's took me over a year to master it, to be fair, and I still learn about it all the time. And it changes.
That's the key. That's the key thing, though, to remember. I mean, like we've just had a recent discussion on CPD, Paul. This kind of thing, you've always got to go back and check and make sure that you're doing it the way that it's been done, because they can one day just change their behaviours, and everything you've prepared for is now not working. So it's one of those things you need to keep going and seeing if you're being, you know, if you're optimized, so to speak.
The next thing I'd say is consistency. So it doesn't matter whether you post 1 time a week, 3 times a week. I used to be at a point where I posted every day, but that got it was just hard to fulfill it all the time with quality content. I'd sometimes post filler, I felt like, but it doesn't matter what it is, but be consistent. So I post, it works for me, but there might be a better time to post. I post at 8 o'clock every day. It's purely because I do all my posts the night before, or I'll spend the weekend writing them up, just because I haven't got time at work to be sat on the phone, save them in my drafts, and then when I get to work, I'm literally 10 minutes, go into my drafts, post the photo, and then I'm back on.
Oh, hang on a second. Sorry.
I know what Paul's going to say.
I'm sorry, I'm incompetent. Okay, did you just say that you can write Instagram posts and save them in drafts?
And as drafts, yeah. So at the minute,
I am so incompetent at it.
At the minute, I've got 41 drafts of stuff from Alex from a year ago that I just haven't even got round to posting. I haven't had time to. Some stuff I have to do a bit of research before I talk about it, or some stuff I'm not going to show because I've realised it's pants, or there's all sorts. But there's a lot of stuff on here which I am going to post in the near future. But yeah, it's just there. And some nights I'll sit there and write 10 posts. Some nights I'll do one. I quickly did one for tomorrow.
I guess especially because you're on the tools, sometimes you're in that job, that workplace where you're going to collect 10 to 20 images that you're going to then gradually release. Yeah. But then there's a day or two where you don't have any optimal content. I mean, that's the problem I get, especially where I'm standing in front of the guys training them. There's only so many times I can take a picture of that. And so I'm going to the LX this week. I'm going to have to collect some images there just so I can use them. But I'm going to do a bit of research on the products and on the things behind the scenes before I then start to post them.
Yeah, exactly.
You and I both know our WhatsApp group has got so much content that will never make it onto Instagram, or not yet anyway. Just a silly one. So I'm on Instagram now, developing my competency as we do this, and I've got a new post up, and the only option I've got, it says, is write a caption and then share it. There's nothing about drafts.
Yeah. So you've gone to create that post, right? And you're at the final stage where it says post. Yeah. So if you tap the back button 2 or 3 times.
If you're trying to leave,
you'll get a save as draft.
Okay, so if I do that again and try and put a silly photo, and then I go next,
you need to go right to the end and then all the way back again.
So I'm about to post a silly photo of me putting a face.
That backwards.
So I tap back, and then I go to cancel.
No, I think it's save as draft rather than cancel, is it?
Oh feck.
Let's try it, just so that we're on the same page.
So my competence levels are bad. I think that's fairly evident. I apologise for my lack of competency. This is why I try and surround myself with people smarter than me.
So you can't just take a photo. It's more if you take a photo and then put a filter on it and then write something. Well, you don't have to put a photo, but at least write something, like edit it. Don't just take it. Do you know what I mean? Because that's how. So just write E5 is great in the description of the post, and then press back twice, and then it will then say discard or save it as a draft.
Oh my god!
And then save it as a draft. Save it as a draft.
Yeah, done.
And then go on add a new photo again. And then.
Oh my god!
You see it's there in your draft.
Yeah, there's a section called drafts. I am competent.
And then what you can do there.
Do you know what? I've just realised that there's loads of people listening to this on their site radios going, what are these bellends talking about? Apologies, because most of you guys or the YouTubers listening are all like, yeah, we knew this because we're the masters of all this. So
it's a game changer. But I'll sit there, especially if I'm doing a lot more project manager now. I'll get a day where I get 10 photos and I'll get a week where I get none. So this just means I can store them up. And I time, especially with a little one at home and working long hours and being on the tools, I haven't got time to sit on my phone while I'm at work. So I can't sit there creating these posts. So a lot of the time it's done at night time or Saturdays and Sundays. So this just allows me to stack them up. And then I'm literally on my phone for 10 minutes at work, 8 o'clock in the morning, post it, do my hashtag, hashtags, put my phone in my pocket for the whole day. I don't sit there waiting for it. I try to get back to people on lunch times, break times and stuff, but
you control social media. Social media does not control you.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, and then that just comes back to the consistency. If you automate it by using these drafts, I notice you guys, especially on the E5 one, you'll post like 5 posts in a day. But then
that's Paul. That is.
Sorry, have I screwed up somewhere?
No,
I remember
that's
Dan
perfectly
saying
fine.
that.
But then there'll be sometimes people. It's going to get to the point where Instagram isn't going to show them all 5 photos because you've put 5 up. It's just the way Instagram works. If you post 100 photos a day, it's only going to show people 1 or 2 of them. So that's the one thing. But 2, then you won't post for a couple of days. But that might be because you've got no content. I'm probably sure it's not because of the amount you post. But what you could have done is those 5 posts you posted that day, you could have had a post every day of the week. And it just works better that way instead of going all of them out.
Oh, so I could got all 5 and just set them all up in a draft and then just bank one out a morning.
And then every day you wake up, you just
so
go
it's
into
about the
draft,
consistency of what you do rather than because I'll be honest with you, my foolish brain is we've got these photos. Part of the main reason we set up the Instagram account was to help people with coding practice. So some really lash up photos, some half decent photos, some what's wrong with these photos to try and make people engage and go, what's that? Or have a look at this video. Or it was more about trying to, where do I go and practice my coding? I know I can go on E5 Instagram because there'll be some crackers on there. And even if people who like teaching in the industry, if they're trying to pull together like a presentation for code this, they can go to our Instagram, nick the photo off of it, and just go, right, let's code this and let's...
And that's 100% fine. And what you're doing is great. It's just you could spread it over 5 days and you're basically giving you're not the only one. I get loads of people that do it. If I post twice in one day, it annoys me because I'm thinking, I've got nothing to post tomorrow, or I could have posted that tomorrow. I'm spreading my exposure. Do you know what I mean? Rather than getting it all out there, and then within a couple of hours, you're just lost in the hundreds of other things people post.
Cool. So come on, next top tip then.
The next top
While
tip.
you're doing that, I'm just going to do Instagram Live as well. Hey.
Number 8 is reshare your new posts to your stories. So I do this, and I know it annoys a lot of people, but it's basically Instagram will only show, if I upload a post to Instagram, it's going to show it to 10% of my followers, for example. And then if lots of people like it, it will go, I'll show 20% of your followers. But sometimes sometimes they just go bad and they don't work or whatever. But the one way to make sure everyone sees your post is to share it to your story. So everyone, if I upload a story, all of my followers get that notification at the top of the screen to look at the story. Instagram shows that to everyone, regardless. As my post, it might not show in my post for whatever reason, the algorithm's being funny, or this person hasn't liked a lot of my photos recently, so Instagram thinks it's not interested. This person hasn't been on Instagram in a while, so Instagram's not going to show them my post. But if I share my post to my story and say, check out my new post, they can't get away from it. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think that you need to do that with some other stories as well?
Oh,
it's good in a string, or do you think it's a bit obnoxious just to have one story in that person's pop-up, which is check out my post?
I do it pretty much every time I post. So I know it's annoying, but I know everyone does it.
If it works, if you're looking for that kind of growth.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the time
I know you do that.
Stories as well. Stories is something I need to get better at. I use it really well in some circumstances, like my highlights on my page. That's the other thing, is use your stories for your highlights. I use it well in that sense, but then I don't post a lot of like random stories. And that's the thing with that sort of stuff. It's really engaging and people find it entertaining, seeing your day to day or even banter and stuff. But I just haven't got the time to be filming Instagram stories at work, and do you know what I mean? Messing around and stuff. And the environment I work in, I'm very commercial, industrial, and
it's not as if those worlds actually allow you the ability to add that into the work process.
Exactly.
Add that into a system of work. Instagram. Yeah. It's not gonna.
I've had to say in the past, as a supervisor, I can't be walking around my phone doing Instagram stories. Like, it's just not.
Yeah. Past couple of years, I've been intending with the testing that I do under 7909, either with Royal Ascot Meeting or you mentioned Kew Gardens or some National Trust places. Every Christmas, I do the testing, and every Royal Meeting, I do the testing. And I get together with my dad, and we do it as a team. I did last year at the National Trust. I did some stuff with generators. I did some stories and did that with him. But you want to make some content because you know it's good content and you've got the opportunity to. But the work's got to get done first. Exactly. You can't allow it to take over the work. And sometimes, especially with temporary systems and the pace and everyone else around you, there's just no time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard line to walk, and I do commend people who are constantly uploading and putting great content out there. But yeah, it's normally like domestic guys are on their own time, in their own environment. But no, fair play to them.
This is probably the longest an E5 podcast has gone without Mr. Meenan talking. He's actually talking, but just so you know, listeners, he's actually doing an Instagram live right now.
I have just finished the Instagram live. Thank you very much. Giving people a tantalising sneak peek because I have a competency now, which they have given me and they can't take away, which is the live button.
You get a CPD certificate at the end of this as well.
I think Mr. Dempsey would like me not to have access to the live button because I think I've done one which I was a little bit emotional on. But I think it's a great little feature, the Instagram live, to be honest with you. I think I did one in my car the other night, and it was, of course, I wasn't competent to pause it. So it never saved to the logo, which I've realised is where the live stuff goes for a day. Yeah, it ended up with like half an hour of talking to people and getting questions, and I thought that was quite cool actually.
It's one of the things. It's one of the things that when you've got people that want to listen, and if they do have opportunities to engage with you, they might. I did this remember when I did YouTube, a couple of YouTube streams?
Oh, they were awesome.
So cool. I'm going to do them again. It's a case of when. The problem is obviously getting myself prepared so I can do them the justice that we did last time, because we planned on doing a stream for about half an hour to an hour, and it went on for nearly 2 hours.
There was a queue of people at the door.
Yeah, and I got to the point where I was trying to answer questions with the regulations one, and I was like nearly 20 minutes behind messages that were going in and questions.
Yeah, Dave, you failed miserably on that. You were not being succinct. You were just.
I was basically trying to do what I could, but I had about 100 odd people asking questions at once, and I was trying to give everyone an answer.
Yeah, and
I hadn't learned to kind of pick one, skip some, pick one. But with the coding one, which we did later on, that was fine. But yeah, the live is a practice. It is something you have to get used to. But if you do find people do want to engage with you on it, it does take time. It does take time. You don't do live, do you, Martin?
No, I should do. But yeah, to be honest, I'm going to start investing more into like the Instagram TV side. I was going to do YouTube, but I think I'm just going to focus primarily on Instagram TV. And yeah, going live at times and stuff like that. But I've got lots of stuff coming up with that, to be fair. But it's just time to do it all amongst everything, isn't it?
Remember, it's a hobby. Social media mustn't run you. You run social media. If you are finding yourself, and let's be honest about it, we know there are many, many people heavily addicted to YouTube and all sorts, and that can become incredibly unhealthy. Sorry. I've got a day job, which is like you, Mike. You're doing some project management and stuff now. When you're on a building site and you're having meeting after meeting after meeting, the last thing you think about is social media.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have to be able to switch that switch off.
Yeah.
And this is why I was in a project review meeting for a station refurb where there was about 30 people in it, and I walked into the room and one bloke looked at me from across the table, was from the design consultants, and he went, "Oh, I was listening to your podcast." And that threw me off completely because everyone's like, "What?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, he does a podcast." And then the whole room was like, "Do you really?" And I was like, I was in work mode. I wasn't in E5 mode. I wasn't in podcast mode. And I think a lot of people live their social media completely and like 24/7. They almost have personas now, which I just think it's a little bit weird.
I think a lot of them do. I mean, a lot of electricians are doing social media at work. It is work for them. They have a tea break, they have a lunch break, they go to lunch, they share that.
I mean that's fine, but I mean if you look at
it's fully integrated with their work.
But if you look at the likes of Tom Nargi, for instance, I'll use him as an example because we've spoken to him quite a lot recently. His videos were always, when he first started it, we did a conversation couch. His videos were, in his view, a unique way of marketing himself as a jobbing electrician in London, and
Yeah.
they've since become a thought diary. I think that's the best term that we agreed on. They're the jobbing thoughts of an electrician, which is why he tries not to show various stuff, and he just gets ridiculed for whatever he tries to do now anyway.
Yeah.
But that was his tact, his way in, and that's his pro forma for doing social media. You look at the likes of Gaz at GSH, and it's content. I mean, he's just announced he's leaving Tresham, and he's nearly got a year's videos prepared, a year's worth, and I'm just like, that's some serious effort. The amount of effort it takes to do all that is incredible.
Videos take a lot
but
more time as well.
The problem being, again, it does change you as a person if
Yeah, it
you're
does.
only interested in creating content.
Yep.
You know, if you're only interested in creating content, then you don't take the time to actually help people in some certain circumstances.
Well, I'll say it on this podcast. I think Gaz is completely addicted to YouTube. He's OCD for it. He's completely addicted, and he's almost tunnel vision on it, which is a bit of a shame. But I still love his content, and it's a fantastic thing.
He's told me stuff about my channel, which I didn't even know about the data, the tracking. He's very, very in that mindset. But I remember when I first, when I last actually saw him at the City Live, instead of actually saying "How are you" and everything, it was like an announcement that I'd arrived. Let's make content, and I was like, oh.
Yeah,
I wanted to speak to my mate that I met and that I liked.
Yeah.
I know. Well,
it was just content.
We got offered the apprentice wall, and all of us that were there, John Ward, everyone, we all basically refused it because we were like, we're here to see our friends and hang around with our mates. We're not here to make content because there's a time for that, and there's a time not for. And the one thing that we've never wanted to do was create friendships built on respect. Well, no, sorry. We've wanted to create friendships built on respect, not friendships built on content, because that's just a form of prostitution and whoring each other out.
And they'll always fall flat.
For followers, for what? You all run out of ideas. You all copy each other's ideas. And for us, I mean, we were at the point when we were at CEF Live, and it was like they were so busy doing their thing with that other brand, which we're not going to ever talk about. But they were so busy doing that, we were like, do you know what? Our mates aren't really interested in talking to us, so we're just going to walk away. And we did actually offer to do the apprentice wall with no cameras, no recording, but as mates, only as mates, not for content, and that just fell flat. So we walked away.
Yeah. But I mean, I took 5 months off of YouTube last year. I went back, did a couple more videos, but right now I've got sparkingninja.com. I've got a Facebook community which is growing at a pace that I'm not happy about, because I don't want it growing like that. Bella and Bella's like, fine, it's great, let it grow, and I'm like, oh no, let's colour. Let's colour for you. Can I colour for you? Find someone. Because the problem is, it needs to. What's special about it is the fact of the people that are in there, and if everyone is in it, it's not. It loses it. So
I threw someone out today, Dave.
You have?
I did, for using naughty language. I threw him out.
Yeah, and that is the point. People need to know that it is a special group, a unique group, and if everyone's in there, it's not unique. And that's the problem. And people are saying, we found you on the homepage. Because I've got the questions, how did you find out the group? What's the intention of being here? Found you on the homepage, or my boss says to join all this. Says, okay, homepage. So people are coming because it's another group, and it's a big group now. And I was like, well, we're gonna. And the problem,
it's a little bit more than that. Oh, Dave.
The problem that I had though is the Facebook thing where you have we have the rules, and you have a tick box to tick to confirm the rules. On Apple, it wasn't appearing on some phones. So Facebook's own app wasn't showing people the tick box. So I couldn't get confirmation, because we had about 6 months where anyone who didn't confirm the rules just said no. We turned away probably thousands of people. But then it turned out, when I did an investigation into it, so I ran it on Android, I ran it on an iPhone, I ran it on a couple of things, and I noticed that sometimes that tick box isn't there. So Facebook's app is a little the group rules where you join a group. Some people see it, they go, yes, tick, I confirm. Some people go, what tick? What box?
Yeah.
And so it really is messing it up right now. It's a problem. Sorry, Paul, you were saying?
No, you're one of the things which is really good about your group, and we have an E5 one as well, but I think that's only got like 500 members. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of Facebook, and I don't see any value in me investing in putting stuff onto the E5 page other than maybe links to videos or stuff that we're doing on YouTube or podcast. That's pretty much it, or just information when I can. I would rather invest my time into Dave's group, which is far more organized, far more sense checked, and has a code of conduct and decorum about it. And there are people who will ask what they think is dumb questions. And if we get a spark who says, "Where were you born, you moron?" they're pumped. They're gone. And we tell them they're gone and they're pumped. We will not tolerate any of the nasty, bitchy, snipey, twisted, bitter, nasty, sparky crap. Don't get me wrong, we can challenge them. We can challenge them and say, look, with respect, you should know this, or you shouldn't be working on this system. But if you just turn around and say, well, you're a fucking bell-end twat, then you'll just be bounced out of that group and banned, period.
It's what's nice about Instagram, though, because with Instagram, most people are just nice. It's all Facebook. Yeah. But there, they appear to be not negative. There appears to be a lot of nicer interaction and engagement in there.
Yeah,
my only.
I think with Instagram, you've got that visual aid. So you might find something frustrating, but if I'm commenting on someone's Instagram post, I can either see that not that they don't know what they're doing, but you've got that visual aid where you can say, oh, maybe you should have done it like this, and you can go look at their other photos. And do you know what I mean? You've got that extra layer as on just a comment forum. It just gets toxic.
A lot of the problem with Facebook is people just don't know how to describe the problem.
Yeah, and it just gets taken out of context, doesn't it, when written on the screen?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So sorry, go back to Instagram. Where were we? Was that tip 7 we've had?
No, that was tip 8.
That was tip 8, right?
Yeah.
You realise we're going to do an entire podcast just on these top 10 tips, which is fantastic.
Well, I think they're very important.
I'll have to drag you back.
We listen to this one back later.
Yeah. So number 9. Again, this goes back to just the core of Instagram. Be yourself and be true and be transparent. So you get a lot of people trying to upkeep an image that is not them. Do you know what I mean? Or try and upkeep a unrealistic standard of work. Like there's some fuse boards that clearly take way too long, and that is great. And I love the standard, and I'm just as bad. But then you'll see that they've only got two posts of fuse boards in months, and they've clearly done more than that or worked in more than that. And that's because they obviously can't do every fuse board like that. So you've got to be, you've got to be true. You've got to be realistic. You can't set too high of a standard.
Well, I've got the highest standard ever for when I replace. I've got my boiler getting moved later this year. When I do, I will be refitting out my domestic board at home, and the pressure I am under myself to do something that is considered sheer artwork, is just biblical. I mean, I will literally be using a set square on the conductors inside the board. I will be that thorough, and Dave will hate me for it because I'll use Velcro wraps instead of tie wraps.
That's fine. That's in your own time, though. I think
it will take me weeks.
Yeah, and it's fine to do that.
I get what you're saying,
though.
I get what you're saying. If people illustrate something, to be, I just did that, and clearly that's something that they've really had a go at. So.
Yeah, people play it down. It's the same. It's the rose-tinted view of Instagram. Everything looks amazing on Instagram, doesn't it? It's all edited.
All those filters
and angle, exactly. But really, it took 2 weeks, and it was a bastard. And he's not showing you the bottom half of the board because that's where all the RCBO leads are, and they look pants. And do you know what I mean? Sometimes I think you have got to be a bit really. We're all guilty of it, but even just in the comments and stuff, don't pretend to be someone you're not. Don't pretend to be more knowledgeable than you are, because you will eventually get caught out. And just
we know what that sounds like.
Yeah, but people will like.
What are you suggesting, Dave?
Being you. Do you know what I mean? And if you're not you,
in all fairness, so with social media, I've always said just be me. And I've always been an open book, and it's very much what I learn, I will share. So on our Instagram stuff, we have. I think we're the only Instagram account that has extracts of standards on where we'll snapshot as a picture. But that snapshot is a little snapshot. If someone's having a row on site, they'll go, "Where did I see that?" I know it's on there, and they'll be able to open up an app that they use, be able to go, "There you go, that's the extract," and I can remember it really quick. And that's why we do weird, quirky things like that. But for us, it's coding, it's us having a laugh, us acting silly, me doing stupid, or whatever, really. But
guess that's
you're very much yourself, so which is
I mean, it is probably the best illustration or representation of E5. We aren't performing electricians; we are providing support, and that support does often come in information.
Well,
It comes in reference material.
More often than not, as well, it's a bit like you were saying about the people who it becomes all about the content. You can tell that they are being their content selves rather than their true selves. It comes back to that on Instagram. You know, if you're just genuine, you probably have more meaningful conversations and more genuine content than putting on an act, a facade. Or
is it fair to say that there are people who do social media who literally all they do is state the word content for their content?
Yeah, 100%.
And I just sit there and I go,
buzzword.
You have stolen many valuable minutes of my life.
Yeah,
and that's when, to be honest, that's when I just unsubscribe and I switch off, and I just skim past if the videos or whatever in any of my feeds.
My final tip.
Okay, go on
then. Number 10 is not to be patronising, content, but not in the sense of content. It's post, not quality stuff, because that's opinion. That's everyone's opinion and it's subjective. But post what you think is quality that you would expect to see. Do you know what I mean? High quality stuff that is gonna do well, or people are gonna be interested in, or do you know what I mean? Whether it's an artistic shot or something that's informative or something like that, you get people who post in the NIC logo and going, "I'm NIC approved," and it's like, great, so's everyone else. Like, I want to see your work, I want to see your van, I want to see your tools. And then you'll get people taking a picture of their tool bag from 5 meters away and on the floor zipped up, and it's like, no, grab the tool in your hand, take a picture of your hand with the tool, talk about the tool. Do you know what I mean? Just do.
You know what, actually I was mucking around in my tool bags a couple of weekends ago. I should take some pictures of me de-rusting all my tools. Exactly. I do have to do that every year. Clean all the rust and oil them off, otherwise they just fall apart.
If you look at any, like, not even electrical related, I'm talking these people who have got tens of millions of followers, it is like a art gallery, isn't it? A lot of their Instagrams, and that's because that's what it is about at its heart, is good quality pictures of whatever you're trying to share or whatever you're interested in or whatever. But at its heart, it is a good quality gallery of whatever you're,
I would like to think that our Instagram account is a gallery of beauty, not only of electrical knowledge, but the likes of John Ward and Dave and Dan, who are fine specimens and hunks. No, actually, we're just very ugly, bearded, hairy men of a certain age.
And it's very easy to make your feed look good by just using the same filter on every single photo. Just pick one you like and use the same one on every.
I don't use any filters. I think it ruins the photo. Are you supposed to use filters?
You're not supposed to, but see how my page, everything looks almost
not. Use no filters. Say that again. Sorry, Mark.
If you go on my page, every photo sort of looks not whitewashed, but it's all got that same whitey background.
Yeah, but I assume you just took that.
No, that is a filter. A lot of this stuff is a lot darker. Do you know what I mean?
You're sitting on a throne of lies.
Yeah. It's just.
So you use a filter?
Yeah, I literally, if I go into one now.
Which filter is it you use?
I use Jingham, and it basically whitewashes. Not whitewashes, but just does like a little. Jingham, yeah.
I often use Clarendon.
Exactly, yeah, that's another good one. That's in my top 3. I literally have Clarendon and Jingham, but I always use Jingham just because every post looks the same on your feed.
Oh my god, I've just done a Clarendon to a picture of me and I've got greyer. My white hair's got whiter.
But then if you go into edit...
Right, oh yeah, there's an edit button.
Scroll all the way along to sharpen.
You've never played with Instagram, dude?
No!
Scroll all the way along to sharpen, and literally every photo, turn that up to 100. It basically... just makes it crisper, sharper. It's like free upgrade for your photo.
What the hell?
Structure's another great
one.
Where's
this been all my life?
Structure on like 10%. If you put it on anything higher, it looks weird. But if you put like 10%, it gives your photos more texture. There's another great one called saturation. So if you've taken a photo and for some reason the colours are a bit off, you just put that up to like 20% and it will sort the colours out.
I've just put the structure to 100 and it's aged me 10 years.
Yeah, it looks weird. but 10% is normally 10, 15%.
Maybe you weren't the best image to start experimenting with.
But
What are
yeah,
you saying? You're saying I'm not beautiful?
I'm just saying, maybe you should.
Do you know what? I hate to say this, but I think I prefer the au naturel.
yeah, no, that's
Maybe
100%
it's my
right.
age thing. I don't know,
But just
yeah.
from afar, I think it aids your feed. But yeah, that is probably again a bias thing, just from my age of caring that all my photos sort of slightly match in colour. And
Are we allowed to
It's a
also
bit-
say that?
It's kind of like an identity. It's like an extra
Yeah.
identity to your content. I mean, I've been on some where you initially look at the whole library and it's like, oh, but then you actually understand. I mean, one of my favorite bands, Japanese band, one of the members of that band only posts black and white on Instagram.
yeah, that's another popular.
Only black and white. You know, it's just her method.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but then it means when I go through or anything, if I go through stuff like my feed, know exactly who it is straight away.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it worth saying as well, from an Instagram perspective, P. Burke and Sons, I personally think are phenomenal.
Yeah.
I don't know if he listens to this, but to Mr. Pete Burke and Sons, Newcastle upon Tyne, your Instagram is awesome. You portray everything that is great about our industry and family in our industry, and I absolutely love looking at his stuff.
Yeah,
actually cheers me up looking at his stuff. Really competent guys.
Does amazing work.
He does indeed. Right. So is that the end of the top 10 tips then?
Yeah.
All right. So one thing I'd like to add into that, a question for you.
Yep.
Let's say I was going to, let's say I was like Luke Witchard, for example, and I created the My Trust Electrician, but I wanted to try to use Instagram, but I'm a local electrician. I don't want to create I mean, I don't mind a following, but I want local
engagement
benefits from Instagram. Is that workable? Can I do that?
100%. Yeah. So you can immediately tag every photo with your town or location that you're targeting. I just tag where the photo was taken, but if you just tag every photo as your local town, people who are anyone who's looking at that location is going to constantly see photos of this electrician operating in that area. So that's an easy way. You can put your location on your profile. So again, that when people search for that location, your profile will come up. Obviously, the location is going to come up first.
I know that comes up when you take a photo. You get that location, or even you might be in a shopping centre and you take a picture. It goes, "Are you in this place? Are you in this place?" Restaurants and things.
And you can do it with your stories as well. And you'll if you do it in London, obviously there's going to be thousands. But if you do it in a smaller town, there's only going to be 10 stories up that day of that town, and you can be all over it.
So let's take a small town near me. I mean, I live in a little village, but Whitby, which is just up on the coast.
Mm-hmm.
If I was an electrician in Whitby and I wanted, maybe just work in the Whitby area plus maybe a 30-minute commute around. If I just visit the shops or I just pop around and I'm taking content, if I just can make sure that Whitby is in there, would people then find me if I have electrician and Whitby often in common arrangement? Would people find that?
This way. The top posts in Whitby are getting. Well, it doesn't show me how many likes people are getting actually, because Instagram's updated itself. But it's saying no. It's not saying more than 1,000, so it's not hard to compete with that. And there is no one at the minute with a story tagged in Whitby in North Yorkshire. So if you literally uploaded a post now, Sparky Ninja, blah 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 blah, and tagged Whitby, you're going to be the only person. And I'm literally on Whitby now.
Right.
At the top, there's no stories for Whitby. If we go for like London, but that's a very easy way to. Do you know what I mean? Places. Let's go London, United Kingdom. London, United Kingdom, there is thousands of stories tagged London. Yeah. But Whitby, there's no one.
And so anyone in my village or town who's seeing that content would then naturally find mine because I'm also Whitby, and then they'll notice I'm an electrician and they'll remember that.
100%. I might be looking at Whitby photos because I went on a night out in Whitby last night. Yeah. Then you come up and I go, oh, do you know what? That thing keeps tripping in my garden. I'm going to ring this guy because he's in Whitby. It's that simple. But yeah, it's definitely, and you look at Art Smart. I don't know if you follow them.
Yeah,
their business is solely based on Instagram.
Well, pretty much they're killing it, aren't they? On Instagram.
Yeah, that's where a lot of their client leads are derived from, and they've really got it down to a T. I mean, I've got a similar amount of followers as them, but I'm not using it to generate work in the way they are. They've
they called?
really.
But again, I mean,
Smart.
the benefit with Art and Smart is they can obviously go to work, they can record at work, but then they can do the end result, which then obviously people who find that, and they can obviously with that content they can tag the manufacturers and the products. So if I'm looking for that product, I can look at that product, and there's a guy who installs that product.
Yeah. And their content is obviously more geared at end users as well, just by being smart homes. A lot of people, a lot of civilian people, they're going to be interested in having a Nest thermostat fitted or a cinema room and all that stuff. If I post a picture of a three-phase fuse board, then just not going to be.
No, so it's end user, it's client oriented.
But that's the genius behind what Art Smart are doing. To be fair, they're catering their business and their electrical stuff too.
I think I found
they're
them.
all over that.
Yeah, you found them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're killing it, and they're doing it right. And this is the point. This is why I raised the question. So electricians who are looking at Instagram, do they want to get attention from America, from around the world by hashtagging food? Maybe not, but if they want to get potential work in their area, they've just got to make sure that they live in their area, they socialize in the area, and as they take pictures and create content out with the family or doing anything else, they tag that area, and they include electrician content in those tags or in their channels, and people will find them in their area.
Yeah.
Which is just wanted to kind of discuss that at the end, just so that we actually considered little self-employed sparks.
I think we've learned so much in this. We should charge a fee for listening to this podcast because it's been such good CPD. I've actually learned something from it, which is good, rather than doing the work and coming here and then going, oh, okay, now I'm sharing it. I feel a little bit more knowledgeable on Instagram now.
That's really good to hear. I'm glad I've.
You still haven't got out of the gifts, the gifts in photos, but we'll go through that in another podcast. We're running over. We're running over now, so I'm going to ask for some final thoughts, and then if it's okay with you, I think we're going to get you back.
Yeah, 100%.
You're a social media guru, and you've got a good backstory. You've given us some important CPD today, and I'm sure there's more that we need to talk about. So, Dave, have you got any final questions or thoughts for Mike?
No. I'd just like to say thank you for helping some old boys kind of understand what we're doing with these things.
Speak for yourself.
We are trying our best to keep up. It's very hard. I mean, it's very hard to keep up.
Yeah.
Take for example, gaming. I love gaming. I haven't played a game for a while. My son, my 6-year-old son, plays Fortnite, and he'll ask me to come and play him. Oh, don't, mate. Don't. I'll take it easy on you. And he's kicking my ass.
Dave,
and
I've got 2 Xboxes downstairs gathering dust, one for each TV, all with digital games. I've got about 9. I've bought a 5 terabyte hard drive for the Xbox expansion, and it's full of digital games. And I play it maybe once every 3 months if I'm lucky.
Yeah, so I'm trying to keep up, and I do know social media. We've got to keep up. We've got to make sure we do it. So thank you for kind of breaking that down with us, and hopefully you'll help us learn as it evolves, because it's going to evolve. It's going to change.
Indeed.
Yeah, cheers,
Mike. Any final thoughts before we call this one to an end?
No, not really. I think I've done enough talking, I guess.
I would.
If anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to DM me directly, and I can explain anything that was.
Yeah, and if you are going to go and try out Instagram, go check out Michael. It's Residual Current. Is his username? Is that right, or is that?
Yeah.
You're looking big R, white background. Can't miss it. If not, just follow Sparky Ninja or the E5 Grip and look at who we follow
100%.
and who we basically worship, and you'll see him.
Indeed. So on that bombshell, we're going to finish this off. Mike, thank you very much, you son of a voltage operated breaker. And I think that's it. Thank you for listening. Please click like, subscribe. I've got Dan in my head reminding me, please, if you like our content, share it.
Yes, good job.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Follow Sparky Ninja, Residual Current. And there'll be lots more podcasts. Please email us, info@e5group.org.uk. And until the next one, take care of yourself and each other. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.